Imagine waking up one morning and seeing a message on your smartwatch that no device should ever send. Do not go to work today. At first, you would think it's a glitch, maybe a joke or some bug in the software. But for one man named Evan Carter, this strange warning became the single reason he survived a disaster he didn't even know was coming. Evan lived in Seattle, a calm, tech-heavy city where smart devices were part of daily life and personal assistants were trusted more than ever. He was a simple, routine-followed engineer who woke up every day at 6:15 a.m., grabbed his smartwatch, checked his schedule, drank the same coffee, and left for work. But on this particular cold Thursday morning, everything changed. When he picked up his smartwatch from the nightstand, instead of the usual greeting, the screen displayed a clear, unsettling message. Do not go to work today. No details. No explanation, just a warning. Confused, Evan rebooted the watch, thinking it was a notification error. But after restarting, the same message appeared again, except now it was even more urgent. This is serious. Do not go to work today. Evan felt a strange chill run up his spine. His smartwatch wasn't supposed to send custom messages. It didn't have any app that could write sentences like that. It didn't even have an AI that could analyze dangers or predict anything. So he ignored it and continued getting ready, trying to stay calm. But when he picked up his things to leave, the watch lit up for the third time. Something will happen. Do not leave your house. This message made the hairs on his arms stand up. It wasn't a random glitch anymore. The message was specific, personal, almost like someone or something knew what was coming. He asked his wife Clara if she had set any kind of alert on his phone or sensed anything with the watch. She shook her head, barely awake, and when she reached to look at the message herself, it suddenly disappeared. The watch went blank. Normal again? Evan tried to forget about it, but the unease lingered. At exactly 6:37 a.m., the message reappeared. Last warning. This was the moment when fear finally overtook logic. He checked Bluetooth. Turned it off. The message still appeared. He turned off Wi-Fi. The message still appeared. He tried airplane mode. The message still appeared. How was the watch able to display warnings without an internet connection? Without Bluetooth? Without anything? Now, Evan stood at the door, car keys in hand, battling a decision that felt ridiculous yet terrifying. His mind told him it made no sense. But his instincts told him something was very wrong. His wife noticed he was pale and asked him what happened. He only said, I just don't feel right. She urged him to stay home. And after a long pause, he finally listened. He placed his bag down, turned the watch off, and spent the morning sitting quietly on the couch, nervous and restless, constantly checking the time. At 9:12 a.m., just as he stood up to get a glass of water, the entire house shook violently. A loud rumble echoed through the neighborhood, then sirens, lots of them. His phone immediately began buzzing. Dozens of notifications. Dozens of emergency alerts. And then Evan saw it. A massive gas explosion had torn through the building where he worked. The exact floor he worked on had been completely destroyed. Several of his coworkers were injured. 2 people lost their lives. And if Evan had gone to work, even if he had arrived just 1 minute earlier, he would have been in the room where the explosion happened. Evan dropped the phone, shaking uncontrollably. His wife burst into tears. He sat down slowly, realizing that the strange message on his smartwatch had somehow saved him. But the question was, how? He contacted the smartwatch company, hoping for a logical explanation, but they denied everything. They said no version of their software had the ability to send warnings like that. They said no A model on the watch was capable of predicting external events. They said nothing in their system could gather gas leak data, city pressure reports, or workplace sensor information. They insisted the watch could not have known what was going to happen. They asked him to ship the device to their headquarters for inspection. After running tests for weeks, the company told Evan there were no logs of the warning messages on the device. No signs of external access. No evidence the messages had ever existed. They returned it to him with a short email calling the incident unexplainable. But a month later, Evan heard something from a friend in the city's emergency department, something the public was never supposed to know. Tiny pressure irregularities had been detected in the city's underground gas lines hours before the explosion. Early warning data had been collected, sent through smart city systems, and passed through several experimental AI platforms designed to identify potential hazards. These systems weren't public. They weren't announced. But some smartwatch companies had been quietly testing connections to the city's predictive database. It was possible, though no one admitted it, that Evan's smartwatch had briefly connected to this hidden hazard prediction system. It was possible the AI detected something the humans didn't act on in time. And it was possible the AI tried to warn the closest potential victim, Evan. But why only him? Why only his device? Why that one morning? No one had answers. 2 weeks later, after finally gathering the courage, Evan put the smartwatch back on his wrist. At 2:14 a.m., the screen lit up one last time. A single message appeared: "You're safe now." And after that, the watch never displayed anything strange again. Evan keeps it locked in a drawer to this day. Not because he fears it, but because he respects it. Technology is becoming smarter, faster, and more connected than we can imagine. Our devices know things about us we don't even know about ourselves. But what happens when a device predicts danger before humans do? What happens when a smartwatch becomes something that knows the future before it happens? Nobody can explain what warned Evan that morning. A glitch? A secret test? A hidden AI network? Or something far more advanced? But one thing is certain. If your device ever tells you do not go to work today, you might want to listen.